It's time for Bravo with Sheila, a place to be enlightened, a place to be built up, and always a place to remember that when nothing changes, nothing changes. Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Bravo with Sheila at the Bravo with Sheila Network. I'm excited. You know, I'm always excited to be here. It's been a minute. I have been traveling. I have been jet lagged. I have been all of those things and everything above it. But I am here tonight because I'm excited about what we're going to share tonight and who's going to grace us with their presence on this platform tonight. It is a great day here on the East Coast. It has been raining and storming for the last 5 days, but nevertheless, we are here. I've had some serious ups and downs and turnarounds and delays and cancellations on my venture of traveling to California and back and leaving again tomorrow, well, Thursday, but I just hope the rain doesn't cancel us out again. I tell you, I am still kind of in between being I don't know what my body thinks it is, but I feel tired, but I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Today has been a different kind of day for me. Yes, I am happy to be back. I don't like when I'm postponing or having to switch times, but you know, life and we have to adjust and readjust. And I'm just grateful to be here again one more time with you. I see my dear first mentor in the chat. She fires. I just love Kelly. I love her, love her, love her. She is the one who really got me up and moving in these YouTube streets a year and some change ago. And it's because of her that I started out the gate understanding things in these YouTube streets. So thank you. You need to go to She Fires. You need to go to her channel so you can learn some things. She's a little tiny little petite thing, but she's a powerhouse. I want to say hello to my ride or die, the one that's here in Nania. She's in the house, and those of you up in the bleachers and the balconies, and maybe you have an expensive seat and you're in the orchestra seat. I want to say welcome to you. I hope you hit that like button when you came in. We need that like button to be hit, that thumbs up button, so that the algorithm can push. I'm so excited tonight. I'm telling you, I've fallen in love with this lady. She is so informative. She's sweet. She's loving. She has so much information and she cares about people's health and well-being. And so we're going to be talking to none other than Chef Laquita Marie. And we're going to talk to her, and she's going to have so much to share with us tonight. I've already told her already, it's impossible, absolutely impossible to have her here and talk about all that she does in one sitting. So we're going to talk about having her be like the Bravo with Sheila Network kind of nutritionist to come on and chat with us maybe once a month to keep us on point, especially with the holidays coming upon us and we're just going ballistic, eating things that we shouldn't eat. And so, hey, Von Eric, where's your faith? Is in the house. I love you, brother. Thanks for being here. Listen, we're going to have a great show tonight. I have had a different kind of day. I've been running. I'm in all black. I had to do a funeral today, and it just was a lot of running. And I ran in, and now, mwah, here I am. But nevertheless, I'm here in my black, right? To go forward, to do what we do here, which is enrich, enlighten, empower, and move you from pain to power and from power to victory. Getting to that place called where? I heard you there. That place called there. That's what we're pressing to. Each one of us have a place called there. My there is not your there. But nevertheless, you have to what? I heard you. Keep it moving. You know I'm the keep it moving sister. Keep it moving. I don't care if you have to crawl or move a finger, move a foot. You got to move something. Don't be stuck. Don't you dare get stuck. Don't do it. You just have to keep it moving. And you always know what? I heard you. It's on the screen. When nothing changes, nothing changes. So what do you have to do? Make a change. Do something you've never done before. But listen, I want to get into this because I think we're going to have a great night tonight. I know we are. Let me tell you about my dear sister who has helped me on so many levels here on this channel, giving graciously of her time, teaching me some of the ropes, showing me things to do on StreamYard. She's just got a heart, and I love her. I love her. So as the founder of Superfoods Parents, Chef LaQuita Marie brings her expertise as a culinary connoisseur, dedicated mom, and seasoned nurse to the forefront with a personal journey that witnessed the transformative power of nutrition. What's that word? Nutrition. Chef LaQuita's passion for improving the lives of families through wholesome meals knows no bounds. Her exceptional culinary skills combined with her nursing background and Food for Life certification have enabled her to create a platform, an incredible platform. If you have not been on this platform, you need to get on this platform on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays in the YouTube streets. And so she has enabled, to create a platform that empowers parents to make positive changes in their family's nutritional health. And Chef LaQuita's own success stories includes, listen up, helping her husband shed 100 pounds and eliminate the need for what? Blood pressure medication within just 3 weeks. What you say, Sheila? 3 months, 3 years? No, 3 weeks. Her commitment to spreading awareness and providing practical guidance and sharing delicious recipes makes her an invaluable resource for those seeking to embrace and nourishing lifestyle with superfood parents. Yes. She has rebranded from Blind Guy, his wife, their life. Listen, she has been doing so many different things. I can't wait to get her up here because it's too much to talk about. We're going to talk about her Amazon store. We're going to talk about her coffee. We're going to talk about her virtual cooking classes. And you know what? Speaking of cooking, hold up. Wait a minute. I think somebody got some pots and pans somewhere. What you doing over there, LaQuita?
So I do have some pots and pans over here. And hello, thank you for having me tonight. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I do have to step away because a young person just came to the door. I made pizza for dinner,
Okay.
and typically I make the crust, so I did make the crust.
Uh-huh.
And in this red sauce, I always put the vegetables inside, so
Uh-huh.
that way it looks like a cheese pizza, but it turns out to be,
Okay.
something good. So
Okay.
what's going to happen is I've got to go cut the next pizza that's ready because I made several.
Well, go take care of your children and we'll chat till you come right back. I'm going to
Yeah,
drop you down. You'll be right back and we'll chat while you're gone. All right. So she's got to take care of her kids, and that's a good thing. She's got to feed the babies. And so while she's gone, let's talk about a little bit about what LaQuita is doing here. First of all, let me put up the banner so that you can get some more information on LaQuita and what she does, her website, and everything will be scrolling across the screen. And so she is a consultant on nutritionist. She does so many things. I have something over here that I can scroll to. She has we want to talk tonight about her virtual classes. We also want to talk about tailoring specific nutritional meals for people who suffer with diabetes or have certain health ailments so that she can what? Help guide us to that place that we need to go to in order to get better. So she has a free recipe app. Yes, she does. And recipes created by her, and dietitians and vegan cuisine experts. And she also has those classes I just told you about that provide nutritious meals that are both healthy and delicious. And so she loves to cook. The lady loves to cook. She cooks, cooks, and she cooks. She's empowering students to live a healthier lifestyle. She has something, she says, food for life, food for life. Look, what I like about Laquita is when she speaks about food, she shows you in real time how she cooks. She shows you what she uses, what she doesn't use. She gives you options in case you're used to using one thing. She can give you something to alter to cook with. She has cough and cold solutions. Yes, she does. Cough and cold solution. There's a short video on her website that you can go and see some of those solutions for cough and cold. She has something called the FAVs. You will hear about the FAVES. You have fruits and vegetables at every meal. I know I'm not saying it correctly, but she's saying every meal we should have some type of fruit with our vegetables. Don't quote me, but I think I'm saying it correctly. She even can talk about fixing hair loss. Hair loss. And I think that she's back. And this last one I'm going to talk about because I'm going to let her go back through this. And again, she can't do this in one setting. She can't do this in one night. So we're going to flow with her and see exactly how she wants to flow and lose belly fat. Now, that's a good one. That's a good one. But we also want to talk to her so that she can tell us what exactly is I'm going to bring her up and I'll finish my comment. We want to talk about what exactly is the definition of superfoods, right? Some of you may think what superfoods are. We want to talk about superfoods that are tailored to specific health ailments, weight loss, I just mentioned to you, and what are some of the myths. So of course, Laquita, we just can't do it in one night. So we just can't. But first, I want to say thank you so much for being here with us tonight. You are a super, super blessing, Miss Superfood Parent. And I thank you. I thank you for helping me on so many levels behind the scene and for your heart towards me. And I thank you for educating me and others, 3 times a week, not just speaking about it, but actually doing it and showing people, because there are a lot of women and a lot of men. People say, I don't know how to cook. And you make it really simple to show how you use a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And so I want to just let you, because it's so much where you are, what you want to say and what you want to do. I see you got some food in front of you. So should
When
we
you said a little bit of this, when you said a little bit of this and a little bit of that, I literally have just a little bit of this and a little bit of that in this
Okay, so then
basket.
that's a good segue. So are we going to cook first or are we going to chat first? You want to start cooking and then we'll chat as you're cooking?
Yeah, we're going to do like everything all at once because I see
Okay.
Anania in there saying my ability to multitask is impressive. But that when you're doing something that you always do, you can do it while you're talking. Well, you can do, you can chew gum and walk at the same time. So
Absolutely.
it's yeah. So I see everyone out here like Lash's journey. She runs every day, so she can run and talk. It's no problem. Gina versus Gina can save you some money.
Mhm,
Every
mhm.
day of the week in her sleep, right? So
Absolutely.
so this is where all of the things that you've said tonight, what I'd love to do in this segment, I don't know if you would like to take some information from the audience so that way, as they ask questions, I can answer them. I am a nurse. Let me just say this. I have been a nurse for 30 years. However, most of my nursing career has just been like pushing pills and doing treatments on people, whether it was, wound treatment, which are, man, wounds are not good, y'all. When you get sick and you're laid up in bed, you're bound to get a wound. It's not pretty. Sometimes you don't even have to be that sick to get one. But
Mhm,
my whole
mhm.
point is that all of the things that you talked about so far, reducing belly fat, hair loss, fixing hair loss, and all these things, I have like one answer for most of those things. And that's what makes this lifestyle super easy is because a lot of us just aren't getting those fruits and vegetables every spread in. So you were saying FAVES, faves, like your favorites, right?
Right,
So a
right.
lot of us just aren't getting them in. Like that's really the culprit. A lot of us are eating powders and mixtures and processed food, ultra processed foods, but we don't realize it's processed and ultra processed because it's so normalized. We see it every day. It's so quick to, grab pizza. So when we see pizza, we don't know if it's been homemade where we took the flour and made the crust and chopped fresh parsley into the crust,
Correct.
or and also like in this sauce, we don't know if in that sauce there's just tomatoes or there's just a pinch of garlic or garlic powder, or if there's actually garlic,
Mhm.
onions, mushrooms, peppers. I'm trying to think what else is in this. Celery and fennel. All of those vegetables I just sauteed and then threw some red sauce. Look, belly fat, we got you, Kelly. Even though you don't need it, you're beautiful
What a
and your
beautiful
belly looks
tiny
good.
little self.
But I get it because all of us have parts of us that we would like to look a certain way. We're used to them looking a certain way. I know Gina versus Gina has been losing weight, I don't know where her target areas are or if she just has a health goal or what. But yeah, I will say that tonight, during this episode, I will be cooking what I call grilled stuffed burritos because
Mm,
it's a handheld food and it's super easy. And when people hear that word, they think about the fast food place. So Queen Lenora, so good to see you from the Love and Live show. I'm sure she knows, she's heard that term, grilled stuffed burrito, and she probably thinks along with a lot of the other people in the audience and along with yourself, fast food place, they or a taco, not a taco truck, but either a taco truck, a fast food place, or a Mexican restaurant where they do it. But you can do this yourself. It literally is just taking some tortillas. So I'll give you a quick overview and then you can get started with whatever you wanted to ask me and we can move forward from there. Does that work for you?
it works for me, Laquita. It works for me. While you're cooking, just you can start out by saying what the ingredients you're going to use, and as she's cooking, those of you that have nutritional questions or questions regarding food or the recipe she's making, the benefit of it, you can put it in the chat. I'll catch it, or and they will catch it, and we'll post it for her to see.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
so you can start sharing what you're doing and what you're using right now.
Absolutely. These are just store-bought tortillas. I do not prefer hydrogenated fats. However, guess what? This has hydrogenated fats in it. I do have organic tortillas that I buy sometimes, but honestly speaking, I often buy these because they're readily available. I don't have to refrigerate them. And these are some of the common ones that people can find. So I am going to take one of these. And once I grill up some vegetables, in here I have a couple of potatoes. I do have celery. I do have garlic. Y'all know I always take my cabbage and instead of eating the whole cabbage, I just chop pieces off. So I do have a cabbage. I have some baby carrots that I'm going to chop up. And I also have an onion. I almost always have an onion and garlic. So I have those things. And what I'm going to also do is add some mushrooms because I do have some sliced mushrooms. These are just white button mushrooms, which are some of the most nutritious mushrooms.
Real,
Go ahead.
they are.
They are. So, some people will think, oh, I think it's the king mushrooms, or I think it's the shiitake or the cremini. All mushrooms are ultra nutritious. And the nice thing is, all of this food, because a lot of people that are here and they watching, they either know someone with a garden, they have a garden themselves, they grow their own food. Um, Anything that grows from the ground is already super nutritious. So all of these foods are going to be super foods, simply except for like this processed part, right? Because everything is a superfood. I will be adding in the way of a sauce, I will be adding a little bit of salsa. And I often show people this 99 cents jar of salsa. This is not organic. Y'all know I try to get organic where I can, but this comes from Kroger or Harris Teeter. It's always 99 cents. And I almost always have 2 to 5 jars in the house. That way, if I need them, to add to a spaghetti sauce or to just add to a sandwich or a burrito, I have it. So those are all of the ingredients. Literally, just some vegetables and a little bit of sauce to make it all stick. And you know what? I don't have any cheese. I might get a little bit of cheese because I do use non-dairy cheese, which is an ultra processed food, whether it's dairy or non-dairy. It's still
Mhm.
ultra processed. We no longer see it in its original form.
Mm. But some brands are have more I don't want to use a certain word, more stuff in it than others in terms of cheese. You can get closest as you can too, because I love cheese, right? But sometimes I'll spend really a lot on a cheese opposed to, when I know some folks still eat the cheese that you take out the wrapper or whatever, but the nutritions inside, the nutritious part of those particular cheeses are minimum. Is that correct?
Yes and no. I will say this, the ingredients are simply different. I'm going to call for an assistant to bring me some cheeses because
You
I
gonna call
see that,
Coco? You gonna call Coco?
you know what, I will call Coco. Coco, can you bring me some cheese, please?
You know my daughter name is Coco too, so
Yes, I remember hearing that. Coco, bring me cheese slices, shredded cheese, and the two shredded cheeses on the counter from the pizza, please. So I use Follow Your Heart brand a lot of times because I'm like you. Now, let me say this. I've eaten everything. So I used to eat animals. I no longer eat animals, right? Or their products. So that's the reason why I used to eat sheep's milk cheese, goat's milk cheese, cow's milk cheese. And what I would do is I would go to the deli and I would buy the better brands because I was always on this path to better nutrition. I was always on this path of how can I get better quality? And I think there's one that's open. There's a child that's open also. Bring me this. This is fine though, just to show. Thank you. So that is Coco. She's bringing those in. And so now what I do is I realize that even these cheeses, like Chow, CHAO,
mhm,
it's a non-dairy brand that you can find at most stores, Kroger, Harris Teeter, Walmart. Um, and what happens is your animal cheeses, the issue is that there's a high content of salt and fat simply because it's a fatty food. It's like its milk is pure fat. Like it's intended to grow something, somebody, whether it's a baby person, a baby animal. And so milk in its natural form, it's just fat filled and it's saturated fat. So that's really where you have those additives. And then when you get into the cheaper brands, that's where they add fillers in
mhm,
addition to its natural fat and salt.
mhm,
These Follow Your Heart brand. I do have a shredded mozzarella.
mhm,
I also have here a shredded Parmesan. Now, the Parmesan is amazing. It tastes much like your typical Parmesan that you would have. I see Gina versus Gina saying, yep, Chow is good. Chow tends to be creamy. And I know Follow Your Heart has slices as well. And so with these cheeses, they do tend to still have a lot of ingredients. And the issue is you have to look and see which ones have coconut oil as the first one of the first ingredients because coconut oil when it gets cool it'll solidify. So a
mhm.
lot of these cheeses they will have coconut oil which is saturated fat. So we're kind of like, okay, I'm going from one saturated fat to another and I'm not getting it in its whole form. I'm not eating the coconut fat with the coconut. I'm just extracting it, and now I'm getting it in a cheese along with a few other items. And some of them they have some pretty decent things that you would not expect. Uh, I'd like to say one of these cheeses, they had white beans, like white beans. I can't remember if it was Great Northern beans or what. It was one of the main ingredients. And beans are one of the healthiest foods out here for us that really just help to they help from one meal to the next. So that even if you eat beans at breakfast, they help you during lunch. So that's the nice thing about beans and lentils and those sorts of foods. But that's my spiel on cheese. Look, Gina versus Gina is right. Having the shreds, I have had the Chow brand of shredded cheese, not just these slices. Their shreds are delicious. I will say that. And they tend to have, look, water, coconut oil is the second second thing. And then you have the modified food starch, something to hold it together. That way if it warms up a little bit, it's just not going to melt into a glob. But yeah, so I really do a lot of research. As a nurse, it's really simple for me to understand the language. So that's where it makes it easier for me to process that info.
Yeah.
And I tend to have a way of explaining things to making the just making things simple. I can always use an analogy or bring it back home so that it's not way over people's head because there's a lot of things that I don't understand. And I would hate for someone to come telling me, let's just say, Von Eric, where's your faith, right? He mixes music, he makes music, he makes tracks. I would hate for him to come and telling me about 16 bars, or you, because you're a musician. Y'all could talk the same talk about music, but I will be sitting there blown away like, okay, I can follow time, I can count to 8, but I don't know what y'all are saying when y'all say on the 30-second measure. I'm not counting like that. What? So, I try to talk every
I
day to
get it.
my. Go ahead, I'm listening.
I said, no, I get it. I get it. And that's how you speak on your channel. You're always sharing, what you know. And if you don't know, you'll Google it on the spot. You will find out what it is before you give it to us. You'll be like, well, let's find out together. And then you'll go ahead. And it's not many times you have to do that. But like you said, you don't know everything. But when you were speaking about beans, right?
Yes.
Eating beans, I know there's so many myths about food, and I remember one day on your channel, I asked you about, hey there, Sir Hell's in the house. Nice to see you.
Hello, hello.
I asked you about sweet potatoes because that's one of
Mhm.
my favorites, right?
Yes, yes.
And on my weight loss journey or whatever, they was like, well, you cannot eat sweet potatoes. You cannot. It's too much sugar in
Really?
potatoes and with beans, because beans is a protein. Is that correct?
Beans are definitely a protein, but beans and sweet potatoes, those are like nature's foundations. That's like DNA. Like what? That's oh wow,
Yeah.
they love it. Well, I
Yeah.
guess it depends on the diet that you were on, because I will say this, depending on the lifestyle that you're experiencing or transitioning to. And while we're talking, by the way, I'm going to first chop my red cabbage and my garlic, because you have the allicins, those those phytonutrients, or the good things in the garlic that are released when you chop it and let it sit for a few moments. And then you also have the sulforaphanes in the cabbage. So I'm going to chop these two first while I talk about this. But beans and sweet potatoes, like I said, it's like DNA. Those are some of your foundational foods. However, if you're on a specific diet and you have a specific goal, then you do specific things. The same way you would weight, if you're looking to be a weight builder and you're building muscle, you would increase your protein, because none of us have ever had a protein deficiency, ever. None of us. No, we don't even know the name for that symptom. And doctors, the plant-based doctors, cannot diagnose it. However, it is true that protein builds muscle. And so,
Okay.
we
From
do
that
need that.
perspective.
So
Okay.
I guess the diet, what were you on that they were
No,
saying
no,
to limit?
no particular diet. I love sweet potatoes. And I was trying to lower my sugar. Now I don't eat sugar at all, right? I'm totally, how do you say, I've detoxed from sugar, and once you stop eating sugar for a long time, your body, if you eat anything with sugar, you immediately feel it. Your body goes
Mhm.
into a little shock. So the sugar thing for me, I wasn't on a specific diet, but I was trying to get away from things that had high sugar. And they were like, well, what sweet potatoes have, especially even with the keto diet, no, you can't have sweet potatoes or whatever. And I remember on your show, I asked you, and you immediately cleared up that myth for me. And I know here, Sir Hale is greeting you.
Hello, hello. I'd like to add something to what you're saying too about the sugar in the sweet potatoes and the sugar in fruits, or the sugar in anything, okay? If I may.
Yes.
So this is where whole foods come in. This is where I talk about getting your faves in. Fruits and vegetables, every spread is what that acronym FAVES is for, FAVES. And what happens is when you eat the whole thing, you get what you're supposed to get, because it's packaged properly. Because sweet potatoes are packaged properly. Uh, what else? What other food did you say that you like that you were limiting? Beans, because they're packaged properly. Was that the food?
Yeah.
Right. So since those foods are packaged properly, what happens is the fiber in them slowly releases the sugar. It doles it out. So just think of this. Whole Foods is like your grandma giving you the food, right?
Mhm.
No, 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 your mama. Because your grandma is like the processed food. You see, you laughing because the grandmas, y'all like, here, baby, take this right here. Y'all kind of give it to us freely. Y'all are like the processed, ultra
Yeah.
processed. Whole Foods is like your mama, like, eat the
Yeah.
vegetables and eat this. Don't pick the stuff off the pizza. Eat the whole pizza together,
Yeah.
because what happens is it all works better together. And when we have an adult audience, I like to give it to them like this. And I won't be too graphic because I also know that we got a certain level of class that as ladies like to keep. So I like to say that, if you are going on a date and you with your husband because your intention is you're looking to have a baby, you want the full experience, right? You're not just going to hold hands or kiss. You want the whole experience. And you're also not going to eat dinner while you hold hands because you can't. You got to cut your food. So you want the whole package. You're not just going to kiss and get the baby. You're not just going to hold hands. You're not just going to eat dinner. That's what whole foods are like. It's the whole experience. And really, it's the whole dating experience because y'all know food is so pleasurable, right? And so when you think of it that way, you won't forget whole foods are best. Think of it as that whole experience.
Yeah,
I'll
I
leave it
tell
at
you, you educate us all the time. I tell you, coming to your channel in the mornings, and sometimes I'm upset when I miss it. Like when I was in Cali, I was like the off schedule with time, and I was like, "Oh, I'm MIA, I'm missing in action," and then missing my David Hunt mornings. I would have to wake up 3 in the morning because we meet there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with David Hunt, and it's so much fun on Fridays with freestyle where he'll play anything. You pick a song and he'll play it and sing it. And boy, is he anointed. So I know exactly, I was missing so much of you. But let's see. Sir Hell says, how did you transition off of sugar and sustain it? Well,
I'd like to hear that too.
he's asking, well, what I did when I started to omit it from my diet, I gradually kept taking it, stop eating things that were highly with sugar. I mean, I just one thing at a time, even though I didn't eat a lot of sugar prior to, but it's almost hard to find anything in the store that has zero sugar. It's going to be 1 gram in there or something, right? But then when I started noticing the sugar content, like in orange juice, like when you look at the added sugar and the sugar, and then for me, I've always been the type of person that always gained weight quickly. I could look at food and gain weight. I mean, I could
Wow.
just look at it. I just have that type of metabolism. I don't know what you call it. And my mom used to always say, Sheila, you got to watch it, because I would gain weight quickly. So I started omitting sugar out of my diet, and buying things that didn't have sugar. And if they did, it have maybe 1 gram of sugar. But as far as
Mm,
putting sugar in my food or putting, sometimes I might use a little honey or something. But once I started doing that, I started seeing myself lose weight drastically. My stomach was decreasing
yes.
because the sugar was out of I noticed it. It was very, very noticeable when I took sugar out of my diet and started seeing the difference in my weight loss and in my stomach really shrinking. I was like, wow, so that makes such a great difference. And once I did that, I don't miss it. And now if I eat something and it's it's like, oh my God, it's awful. If I eat it and I can really taste it, my body begins to
Well, can I ask you like what foods? Give us some examples because let's say, for example, she fires earlier. She said she would love a bean soup, and a
me
lot of
too.
times I use beans to create a cheese sauce or to create some sort of base or dip. I don't even eat them as beans as much anymore.
Yeah,
Once I realized I could do so many things with them, and
yeah.
of course, most of even these natural foods have their natural sugar. So let me ask you: when you say you were cutting it out of things like juice and whatnot, what kind of foods were you eating that did have the sugar, and how did you avoid it? And what did you switch over to?
Well, I love orange juice. First of all, I don't eat meat. So I haven't eaten meat in a trillion years, right?
Mhm.
So I know some people say fish is a meat, but that's all I eat. I don't eat chicken, I don't eat beef, I don't eat pork, none of those things. And a lot of that for health reasons, because I had my, what do you call it? How do they take that thing out of you? The digestive,
Gallbladder?
yeah.
Mhm,
Once
because your gallbladder emulsifies the fat, like it breaks
once
it down.
once they took that gallbladder out, my body, if sugar hits my stomach, I'm done.
You
Like
know,
certain foods, I'm done. Like with the gallbladder thing, I mean, I'm serious about it. I
wow.
struggle with that. So I have to be I noticed it. Like if I eat like sugar, if I put sugar in my tea, right? And
Mm.
say I cheat and I put sugar in my tea, right? And in like 20 minutes, I'm done. It
Well, let
messes
me ask
me
you
up.
this. So
Hmm.
for you, it's the sugar, not the fat, that bothers your, since you've had your gallbladder out. And I say that because again, your
It's the sugar.
gallbladder, okay, and with the fat, you don't have issues
Uh-uh.
with dairy. Do you still eat dairy products from, right, cow's milk and whatnot, and that
I
doesn't bother you?
I drink oat milk now. If I
Mm.
have if I have cereal, I'll put oat milk, which is very, very rare, and that I'll eat cereal. But if I have a taste for something, I'll use oat milk or something like that. But cheese, I love cheese. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me.
You know,
Even
I'd like
mhm,
to hear from the audience too, how many of them still eat, like, do they consider butter, yogurt, cheese, sour cream? Because most people, they say, I don't drink milk, but you're eating your milk when
right.
when you eat sour cream or any of those things. And just so that you know, I know Sir Hill speaks. Look, you will always think of that whole food experience, aren't you? Right, that whole experience. When you think of whole foods, you'll never look at them the same. I do
Oh
want
my
to say
goodness.
that I've cut up 3 stalks of celery, and I've just got 4 baby carrots that I've chopped up here. Once I chop up this whole onion, I'm going to first saute my potatoes, and then I'll add the vegetables, and boom, we'll be just about done with this dish because it comes together really quickly.
Hmm. So Gina says, I grow my sweet potatoes, tomatoes, and other things with natural sugar. Uh-huh. They have many dietary benefits. Yeah, I understand that. And it's a blessing where people could grow their own veggies and take it straight from the ground like you always talk about, uh,
Yeah.
Laquita.
And just what she's saying about sweet potatoes and growing things, haha, she's looking at that whole food analogy. I'm telling y'all, you got to talk to adults with the adult analogies because you won't forget that way. And adults are the main culprits because this is what I tell my kids. I'm grown. I can do what I want. Like there's no holds barred on us. So we tend to be some of the worst folks. We'll tell our children to do things. We'll advise friends. We'll advise others, but we don't always do what's best for ourselves. That's really the point of my platform, is to get everybody being a health hero for yourself, but also for your loved ones. If that means taking care of yourself so that later on someone won't have to take care of you because you didn't take care of yourself, that's
Hmm.
a part of it. Because when I tell you, as a nurse, I see some things, y'all, where it's like, this could have been prevented. This did not have to be this way. Some of us are broken down and falling apart just simply because we didn't get that whole experience that we needed. It's like we just live life getting pecks on the cheek or pecks on the lips, those small kisses, and thinking, yes, I've got all the love I need. And that's not all the love you need. You need to fully love yourself with
Yeah.
everything that you can give to yourself. And truly, relationships, yes, they definitely nourish you. So good relationships, they build you up. There are people that don't even eat, they just breathe air. There, you are actually always breathing in nutrients. You know how when you see that fog or the sun is shining a certain way and you see all that stuff in the air, those little bits, and you're like, what? All those little tiny things floating. Yeah, we're breathing in and we're always
Yeah.
exchanging. But we still have to really give ourselves what we need. We can't give ourselves little pecks and pieces. Like I said, as adults, we got to take full responsibility for our best self and for others. And that really starts with food, because it's something that we do several times a day that we cannot avoid. You can skip a bath, you can skip soda, right? You can skip certain things, but when it gets right down to it, you have to eat. And so, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. You know how you back and forth, and and they said you multitask so well. And one of the things that while you're cooking, I'd like you to share a little bit about the FAVES
Yes.
and how you talk about, because again, the fruits and vegetables at every meal. You said that, first of all, let me back up. Let's talk before we get to that. Like I said, it's so much. I got to bring you here every month so you
Okay.
can be the Bravo nutrition person to keep us on point, and the holidays is coming. I
Mm,
remember that when you started the FAVES, right?
mhm.
You and Corey, your husband, you guys were talking about Corey's high blood pressure and things that he was
Yes.
going through. And you had a journey and a goal. And Corey, you got this whole system where Corey lost 100 pounds
Mhm.
in
Now, I
three
will
weeks.
say, Yeah, I will say that his weight loss did occur over the course of from when we started this up to now,
Oh,
right?
mhm.
So that, however, his getting off his blood pressure medicine, your body wants to heal. It wants to always go back to balance. And so he was able to get off his blood pressure medications literally in 3 weeks. And that is because most of us, if we just really go hardcore in an extreme situation, you do an extreme thing, right? And so this is where you have hello, Chef Coach Mary Ma, good to see you. And I saw someone else came in too. Somebody cruising. I want her. I want that person to be my friend. But but yeah, so your body is always going back. So I watch all these plant-based doctors. I'm just cutting 1.5 potatoes. Potatoes are one of my favorites, whether they're white potatoes, the purple potatoes are most nourishing. Then you have your sweet potatoes and your white, because of course, the more color, the more nutrients. That's a simple way to remember it, plain and simple. When it comes to certain foods, like button mushrooms and things, they just happen to be white and they still have a lot of nutrients. So I'm putting these two small potatoes in the pan. I'll just put a little bit of oil, and I do have avocado oil. But yes, so with these faves, fruits and vegetables, every spread, they have these healing nutrients. So let's just say like sweet potatoes, they have beta carotene. They also have, I call it the cake vitamins, vitamin C, A, K, and E. And so this
Oh,
is
say that
where,
again. C-A-K-N-E. Okay,
right,
and it's easy to remember.
I know, right? And here's the other part. You don't even have to know what these foods have in them. If you're eating them all the time, you know you're getting what you need. It's sort of like one of those things where if you go to work all the time, you know you have what you need. You don't have to keep counting your ducks. Some of us might have to check in with Gina versus Gina if we all out here partying and doing all this stuff and not paying good attention. But if I go to work all the time, I have a saving strategy. I have an investment strategy. I have multiple streams of income. So we're over here with cryptocurrency with Sir Hale's wife and all these different things. Then we know we're covered. We don't even have to say, Sir Hale, ask your wife how fragile this market is, because you have these other safety nets over here. So that's why I was saying, yes, I am using these just, everyday tortillas, because they do have a shelf stable situation. Um, I go through them, but with everything else, the hypernourishment, as Dr. Brooke Goldner would call it, the hypernourishment, or I'm getting an abundance of what I need. Well, I can't go wrong. I can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's so good. And you're just cooking and it's looking good and you got your veggies all lined up all pretty over there, all in a line. It's
I'll show it to you. I'll
yeah.
show it to you because I like this is like part of the experience. I'm going to throw these mushrooms on here too, even though they aren't sliced. I'm just going to put those on there because when I chop, I do tend to cut the food so that the colors are mixed in. You
Oh,
know,
beautiful.
so you have the button mushrooms that were just sliced from the grocery store. I have my orange carrots, my green celery, purple cabbage, the white onions. Everything's right there together. Hey there,
Nice.
DJ is. Sorry, I'm sorry. Let me stop. Let me let you run your show.
No, do your thing. I mean, we're doing this together, and I see all your people are here supporting you. These are the people that are on the channel with us every week. So in the morning, so they're all showed up for you.
This
So
is just a little avocado oil that I'm putting in.
okay, okay. So the weight loss that Corey had, I mean, he said he felt good. I remember he was saying how he felt so good losing that 100 pounds. And did he
Mhm.
do that with a workout regimen or did he do it just from
No. So
listening
let
to?
me explain this too. It's on the intake side. This is what I also practice. I don't talk about my weight loss that much. However, this shirt that I have on is one that I wear almost every day, right? It's one of my broadcast shirts, it's one of my performance shirts. I do wash it a lot. I got it from Amazon, y'all, years ago when I was a little over 200 pounds. And even now, this particular shirt, it hangs just right. I'm going to turn this pan down so it doesn't fizzle too loud in the um
That's okay.
in the mic. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so what happens is I lost weight as well. I noticed that I had a leanness. So this way, I didn't have necessarily an hourglass, but I have what Dr. John McDougall would call a good hip to shoulder ratio. Because when men look at women, one thing that they find attractive is that there is a certain ratio. It's not that the men know that's what they're looking for. It's in them. It's innate. And even when we look at each other, that's what we like. That's what we think about when we think about that hourglass. You have, your shoulders are here, you go in some at the waist, and then your legs are there, right? But nowadays, a lot of us, we've gotten so far away from that, and we call it body shaming, when the fact of the matter is you aren't an hourglass, or you don't have a leanness about you. A lot of us are storing fat on the inside, so we think we look great and we feel okay, but some people's fat presents on the outside, other people's fat is visceral. Like when you're pulling the fat off a chicken, like people say, oh, I got to clean my chicken before I cook it. That's what some of us look like on the inside, fatty liver. And then also our other organs. I used to be a surgical tech nurse, so I've seen the insides of people. It's really cool, right? But then I've also seen that same chicken fat stuck on the inside of people. It's interesting.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Laquita. So amazing. So there are a couple of things I saw on your website. You have so much on your website, even cough and cold solutions. You have
Yes.
that on your website, as well as you do have environmental games. Now, I know you're a game person. We play games a lot over there on your platform.
Mhm.
You love to play games, and you earn points. And as a matter of fact, even the faves, we played a game, and if you've eaten a certain amount of veggies and fruit in the morning, you always ask us, well, how many what veg did you have? What fruit did you have this
Exactly.
morning? You catch us off guard sometimes. Some of us can say, oh, I had cantaloupe, or I had such and such. And then even I was like, avocado. Well, avocado, people think it's a vegetable, but it's a fruit.
It's a fruit. And I also tell people it doesn't matter whether it's a fruit or a vegetable, they're all the same. As long as they grow from the ground, it's just a classification. And speaking of faves and points, we have potatoes, which is a vegetable. We have our mushrooms, our purple cabbage, our celery, our carrots, and our onions. That's 6 things, 5 points each. This burrito, grilled stuffed burrito, is going to have 30 points worth of faves in it. Simple. And so then when you get down into all the weeds of, well, what does purple cabbage do? Oh, the sulforaphane is cancer fighting. Well, guess what? So is the celery. People say, oh, celery is mainly water. All fruits and vegetables hold a lot of water. That's what they do. So that's another reason for you to eat them, so that you're fully hydrated, so that when you go to the bathroom, it's a smooth move, it's a pleasant experience. You're not on there looking like the Incredible Hulk with your feet up on the wall and all that kind of stuff. Got enough time to read articles? Nope, nope. We are in and out. It's a
In
great
and out.
experience. Yes.
That's funny. That's so funny. You even have something for fixing hair loss. Now, are there certain vegetables or certain things other than herbs? Well, there's certain herbs you can use for hair loss, but tell me, because you have that on your website as well. Fix
Mhm.
hair loss. What exactly is that?
So I will say this. I want to go back to the respiratory part as well,
Yes.
real quick, because a lot of my patients are respiratory patients. So I've done ventilator cases for so long. So a lot of my patients have trachs and ventilators even right now. And so I manage a lot of respiratory issues. And now that I know what I know, I tend to try to lean into some of the more natural measures, simple things like breathing exercises. I can calm a cough in, 5 minutes, my own cough or someone else's cough. So I'd like to do that breathing exercise tonight. But moving forward into fixing hair loss, this is where Master Herbalist Yaki Awaken, Master Herbalist Aris Latam, even Dr. Bobby Price, who is a pharmacist, right? They talk about herbs, like you just said, really being the healing factors, because herbs are going to give you more of what you need. Herbs are like the antibiotics of the earth. So,
Right.
your fruits and vegetables are like the things that will maintain you. They are the things that will keep you. And then your herbs. So this is why people will say drink an herbal tea when you're not feeling good. This is
Yes.
why people will say, they will add herbs to certain things, but you don't add a lot. When you add oregano to your spaghetti sauce, you put a pinch. When you add thyme to
Yeah.
your pot roast, You're not putting a whole bunch of rosemary and thyme, because it is a healing food.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yes, I've been on a whole of I was taking it a long time ago for a while, sea moss. So I am back on my sea moss horse, for lack of a better term. And sea moss has been really kind to me. I feel the energy. I can feel my body when I take it. And I was taking it for a long time before, and then I had lost my contact because you can get junk for sea moss as well. Everybody
True, the
thinks
fake sea moss. It's like, how
fake
are y'all
sea moss.
always, every time something comes out, who gets the fake version? Like, how did y'all even
Oh,
know you could make a fake one? But they
they
do
they do.
everything.
They do, and I tell people all this. Oh, I bought some. I said over the counter. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Well, I got some sea moss pills. No, 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 no. Where did it come from? Who did you get it from? Who made it? Who prepared it? I don't know.
Mhm.
I said, oh, I got it from Amazon. Oh, I'm sorry, Amazon. No, 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 no.
No, and you know what? And just like you're saying, you have all of those different minerals that your body needs from sea moss because it comes from the sea. So I do eat seaweed. They have those little seaweed snacks or the nori sheets, because they have a lot of good things in them. And the same way that popcorn NFG is saying that the herbs are loaded with terps or terpenes, and that's another beneficial aspect for you. I'm going to add all of these to my potatoes because they're not quite soft, but the water in the vegetables will help to soften them up and they'll all finish cooking together. Can you read Gina versus Gina's
Gina
comment?
versus Gina says that's why water is so important when growing food. Fruits and vegetables are full of water. Mhm.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
yes, she fires. Sidebar. This is why Laquita is a great storyteller. That's so true. She is definitely, and she do her little eyes up to the. Wait, have you seen her little clip, her little short where she's bouncing off her knees? If you guys haven't seen that, you need to go look at Laquita bouncing up and down on her knees. She says she has great knees. Let's
I
see.
do. It's the food. I didn't have these good foods before. They're saying all of these, Elisa's Adventures in Cruising, they're saying all of these analogies make sense, right? Thank you for that. I'm glad it's making sense to you all. And when we're talking about our knees, a lot of people, they have these back pains, they have these knee pains. This is the food that's going to eliminate that, y'all. This is the food that's really going to make it happen. So, the everyday life of no CP is chick. She's like, yep, I can still do the worm. I got you. 'Cause
So you saw at Love and Live show, she was moving up and down and cooking, like doing her and then showing off. She's a big show off.
you know what? That comes from church. I grew up in church, and the church, there's no holds barred. Anything goes. Anything that you do is accepted. And then don't be good at it. They just hype you up.
That's
And so, what I
that's
mean?
so true. That's
And so
true.
I really lost my sense of I have a very low sense of embarrassment. Let me just say that. There's no such thing. I have found such an intense self-love. And I think self-love comes, I'm gonna put this slice of pizza that I made earlier over here. The kids will
Okay.
eat that later. But this is another thing. I found that not just from eating the food, but just over this time in life, having different relationships with people, work relationships, in-store grocery relationships, traffic relationships. I've developed a huge self-love. I've realized I matter, I value. I don't need somebody with a sign saying, these lives or those lives or whatever. It helps. It's nice.
Right.
Those things all help me to appreciate myself. However, this type of food, it really elevates your mood as well. When they say it raises your vibration, there's electricity in the food. Sure, that's all true. But there are studies, medical studies that have shown that incarcerated people, they oh, thank you. I am a sponsor of yours, Popcorn NFG. Showing the work and results is why I'm your sponsor. So they've shown that people who are incarcerated, the violence goes down when they give them whole food, when they don't give them the processed foods, when they give them whole food specifically that comes from the earth. And even when they're like you, Sheila, where they still eat some animals, right? They show that, but the abundance of whole foods will really, they've shown where they had one school, the dropout rate was phenomenal. And it went down to like 2 students rather than 100 students every year. It was phenomenal. And
Yes.
so this is why, I say, y'all, we all have to be a health hero, because you don't know what part of your life, our lives, we're impacting.
It's
We might be impacting our moods. We all talk about mental health. We all talk about, oh, I'm getting old, and we just think Alzheimer's or dementia is normal. They are not. All of these things are not inevitable. And all of these things are reversible. I know we can't say fix or heal. Maybe we can say Jesus fixed it, Jesus healed it. But you can't say the food on
because
these platforms.
yeah, because you're responsible for yourself as well to make right decisions for
Mhm.
yourself. Like me, I had to alter a lot because of my health. And like I said, once the gallbladder went, I didn't realize that how important that part of your body is, because people say, oh, you don't need it, you don't need it. Lies they tell, because to break down the food, it's a whole different process. So my journey now with food, I eat mainly vegetables, right? I eat a lot of veggies. I eat a lot of veggies. I eat a lot of salmon, right? I like fish, right? I omit all of the meats and stuff. I don't miss them, right? Because I haven't had a piece of pork in my mouth in over 50 years. So who misses it? I don't. I mean, that period.
People say that. I hear people say those things, and they don't miss the flavor, they don't miss the taste, or that they don't like the smell anymore. I ain't
Mhm.
gonna lie, all food still smells good to me. I remember how it tastes. I remember chitlins and pork chops and all of that chicken.
Oh,
However, it's not a desire, like you're
yeah,
saying. It's not
right.
something
That's the
that
word. Right.
hmm And I don't condemn other people, because I know that
No.
we're all on our paths and we're all doing whatever we're doing. And a lot of us are doing it just because this is what's presented to us. We weren't given anything else. This is what was shown to us, processed foods. I remember growing up getting every day in middle school either a breaded chicken sandwich, which was probably a breaded bread sandwich, because I don't even think there was much chicken in there, um, and French fries, or like that little processed burger, or that slice of pizza that was square like this one, but nobody was adding mushrooms, onions, and garlic to the sauce and all of that. And I cut you off, but go ahead, because
No,
I
no,
can go
no.
on and on.
No, no, no. It's good because it's a lot of it's informative and sharing experiences. That's why some of you in the chat can share some of your experiences with maybe a life changing or something you used to eat that you put down because you realized it wasn't happy. It was almost like I'm allergic to it. I can't eat that anymore because it doesn't digest well. And I remember in my 40s, I had a serious bout in my colon. It was really bad. I know I'm being very descriptive, but listen, you know me, I don't mind, because what I say may bless someone else. And I didn't know what was going on, and found out they had to take like a foot of my colon out at a young age. The doctors could not believe it because I was so young, right? And it was like, no way. They couldn't even detect the pain, what I was going through. We don't know what's wrong with her. No one checked for anything that was associated with an older age or whatever, but I was so sick. I was so
What
sick.
was it? Did they figure it out?
It was diverticulitis, right? In my
Mm.
early 40s, right? And so I was like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. And
Yeah,
then
where
they
you have those pockets where the food, like the seeds from food and whatnot,
had
is getting caught
had
up in those pockets.
never heard of it. And mostly
Mhm.
people who are older get diagnosed with that, or a lack of fiber. You're the nurse, and I know this is what they told me. And so once they found out what it was, they detected what it was, but they ruled it out because they said, no, she's too young. That's not what's
I'd
wrong with
like
her.
to I'd like to explain something about that and about some of these different colon
Please.
diseases. One thing I want to get back to also real quick, I just want to interject that pumpkin seeds, because I said, let me open up that fixed hair loss game on my website.
Mhm.
And Dr. Michael Greger does show that eating pumpkin seeds have been shown to increase hair by 40%. So just FYI, y'all, get your pepitas, get your pumpkin seeds. Let's talk about colon health and why these foods are beneficial and what happens, because we hear terms like leaky gut, we hear terms like diverticulitis, colitis, ulcerative colitis, IBS. They're all the same. What it all boils down to is an old tired gut. So just imagine if you have remember that disease that children would have where they aged early. You had these young children who were 8 years old, but they looked like they were 85
Yeah.
years old, progeria or whatever it was called. So what's happening in your colon is from processed foods, those processed foods really have no fiber or bulk.
The
The
fiber.
fiber literally reabsorbs the toxins and the nutrients as it's moving through your colon. It also provides that bulk, and it's pulling things out from your colon so that now you don't have all that bad bacteria. You don't have the roughnecks hanging around. It's like I ain't gonna say the street cleaner, because the street cleaner is useless. To me, they get more dirty, but the streets look more dirty when they come through. So, but the fiber, when you're eating whole foods, you constantly have that bulk. You constantly have those things pulling the fiber, pulling the toxins from your system, all the trash as it goes. So it's like, okay, great. The fiber is like the trash man, just coming through, collecting, 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 and there's no end. That that trash truck, no matter how many trash bags, it seems to continue to be able to absorb. So that's how fiber is. There's no end to how powerful it is. And all the foods that we eat, they have different types of fiber. Their fibers work all a little bit differently, so that you got the tall trash man, the short one, the fat one, the strong one, and they're all working together. But if you don't have that, what you have is a lot of trash. And then your insides start looking like literally Skid Row, unfortunately. And y'all see it, y'all know about Skid Row, but I ain't gonna go there. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And that's so true, Laquita. Not knowing, because I'm thinking, well, my diet's not that bad, but that obviously, while I was younger, I didn't have enough fiber because I didn't understand what this was. And they was like, you got to have fiber for the rest of your life now. You have to drink Metamucil and you have to,
And that's not even real fiber, right? They were
exactly.
trying to give you crazy processed fiber. That's like where they're pulling. This is where you needed the whole food. Like, look at all these
Exactly.
colors here.
And I would not take the Metamucil. I found the alternative with like what you're talking about. So when people ask like how we're talking about, I'm like the guinea pig tonight. I'm good with that. But when you share things, somebody could be going through some film. I mean, I always was gassy in my stomach. I always had all these different things. I'm like, what is going on? So when I had that attack, they said, well, you can only have 2 attacks with diverticulitis, and then you have to have surgery or whatever. And I
And wait,
remember
wait, wait. When you say attack, how are they clocking these attacks to
they weren't.
say,
Go ahead.
well, that's, yeah, so that's what I'm wondering, because like Nikki is saying, the everyday life of an OCD chick says all the itises, right? Colitis and IBS, which is another itis, irritable bowel syndrome, and all of these diverticulitis. And
Yeah,
so when you
they
have all these,
weren't.
yeah, and then the other thing is our gut is so huge because your small intestine and your large intestine is so long.
So long.
It's so much. It takes up more of your body. I guess the only longer thing would be your brain if they pulled that and stretched it or something. But
Yeah, true.
so, and it's so functional. And so then when you aren't giving it the proper fiber year after year after year, and you don't even know, because
Right.
this is how everybody's eating, then it gets old, it gets saggy, like those poor babies with progeria that look old and they really little children, and your insides literally get saggy, and your lining of your intestines, it starts to get breaks and cracks in it. So
Yes.
this is where it might get those pits, so that seeds from food can now hang out. Now Skid Row is, the Skid Row people, they're carving out little places to be in the nooks and crannies of your body. And then you also have, like you're saying, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, all this gas and bloating, and just never really feeling good. Just always
Terrible.
feeling like, what is going on?
It was so terrible for me. And then when I started having those attacks, when I tell you the pain, I mean, if you
Hmm.
guys are listening, please pump up your fiber, because the pain was so excruciating. I couldn't move. They could barely get me to the hospital because any move, you scream. You couldn't get in a car or anything. So eventually, it had to be done. And that's why that goes along with now the gallbladder, right? So we got the gallbladder gone and we got a whole foot of the colon gone. So I have to really monitor and manage myself so that I do the right thing. And if I cheat sometime, I pay for it because it's like my body's like, what did you do? That's a
Right.
no-no. That's a no-no for you. So that's why I wanted you on the platform to talk about so many things. I love the way it's flowing because we're talking about real live scenarios and we're talking about,
Yes.
all the things that you deal with day to day as a nurse and as well as a nutritionist. Carry on, Laquita.
I'd like to, when you say carry on, I'd like to carry on about what you were just saying, and then I'd like to do the breathing exercises that I mentioned earlier because we're moving into cold and flu season in our region of the world where you and I are. And when you were saying that, oh, then my gallbladder, they in some way we think of our body as a segmented thing, whereas our body is like one unit. So that's the reason why your shoulder might cause your heel to hurt. A bad shoulder might cause your hip or your heel to hurt. And so Anania says her body has been telling her to tighten up lately. That's it, right? Get what you need. Get that whole food experience, right? Don't just be getting those pecks on the cheek and those hand holding. Get all of it. Get you a full body hug and then some. So so this is where just what you're saying about your gallbladder, people will think, oh no, then my gallbladder. It's like, no, your gallbladder was a part of the fight. That was like a casualty of the war.
Mhm.
Because you're literally your insides, are always trying to heal, and they're always saying, all right, we're going to call in these allies. All right, well, let's do this, let's do that. And you're compensating so that maybe your heart is beating faster. Maybe your stomach says, okay, I can't even digest all the way. I'm just going to dump it into the small intestines because I have a history of they keep giving me all this oil and I don't know what to do with it. But yeah, it's something how we segment our bodies simply because of the way we're not taught. It's not the way we are taught. If we were taught more about how our bodies are a unit, how we are fearfully and wonderfully made for real, and all of it works together, yes, we would be fearful, and we would do things differently.
Absolutely, Laquita. Absolutely. What's going on in the pot? I want to see what's going on in the pot.
Okay, so let me show you. I turned the pot off. I just asked somebody for a container. Coco, can you bring me an empty container, please? So what's going on in the pot? I turned it off because all the
Huh?
vegetables are soft now. I'm just
Okay.
going to add some seasonings. And once they bring me a container, like a regular plastic container. So I'm just going to add some seasonings here because just to show you, everything has wilted down a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Nice.
yeah, this pot is big and it is heavy. Let me just say that. Um, be careful, y'all. Make sure you use your pot holders, use your safety in the kitchen, do whatever you got to do. I use a couple of processed seasonings that are processed in a big factory. A lot of times I will use seasoning mixes. So one of my favorites is, y'all see me use this Goya
Mhm.
adobo by Goya. And then, that's good. Thank you.
I like Goya.
Yeah, I like their products.
Mhm.
Um, and then sometimes, I just go ahead on and use liquid aminos or salt and some spices. But then, of course, there's also the Badia, the complete seasoning. This one right
Yeah.
here will bless your soul. I love it.
Yes.
So I am going to put on just a shake of each one, maybe like a half a teaspoon of each. You can do a little bit more, you can do a little bit less, but keep in mind that potatoes tend to hold on to a lot of salt. Like you need to kind of to flavor them in order to taste that salt. So I see Little Ruby's Daycare Encounters is here, one of my favorite Nigerians. So glad to see you. And I see that Nikki, the Everyday Life of an OCD chick, she likes Goya too.
Yeah.
And she says both of these are great tasting, both of these seasonings that I just mentioned.
Both are good. They are. I have them as well. Got to
And
have those seasonings.
right. And this is where the easy part comes in. Now that I turn this off, this is a nonstick pan that I'm using. I'm just going, and I've seasoned it up a little bit. I added the mushrooms for a different texture because your vegetables are going to give you that crunch that you like. Your potatoes are going to give you that satisfaction of creamy. And then your mushrooms are going to give you that bounce, that meaty bounce. I'm not going to say it's a meaty texture, but it gives you that meaty bounce because, we like to have some different textures and different forms of resistance. And when you eat whole foods, especially when you raise your children on whole foods, the more they eat, the more their jawline grows properly. So they don't need braces. So this has been scientific,
Really?
really. When I tell you there's so much that this food is doing for us, that's why I said all of the answers are right here for us. It's literally the same diet for everything. You don't even need to switch it up. Do you think about these people that you see in other countries with white teeth and they're perfectly straight, and it's a broad smile. Their jawline
Right.
has been able to grow and expand. Mm-mm-mm. I'm just saying that because this is good. This is delicious,
I heard
y'all.
I heard the I said, "Them must be good."
If somebody's mama was here, they'd be slapped.
But, this is good stuff here.
Yes. So, so
Looks
yeah.
good.
So I like to give that type of information because I watch doctors every day. I watch 1 to 3 doctors' reports. A lot of times I'll go look at the journals. I'll go look at the white reports. That's how I create the games on my website. I don't just create them off of what I think. I do the research so that way people have true facts, medically, scientifically proven things that they can really go on, you know. And
When
so
you
look,
say it,
you
go
see
ahead.
little Ruby's daycare. You see what she's
Yes,
saying? Go
yes.
ahead, that
No,
please.
no, no, Imma catch what she said. She says, "Yes, never heard of cavities in Nigeria, LOL." Wow,
Exactly.
amazing.
Right.
It's
Because
amazing.
what's happening is your teeth, they are healing from you're nourishing them from the inside out. Your teeth are bones. So that in the same way that you would nourish your bones, and this is one of the other reasons why I don't eat dairy, because the dairy leaches the calcium from your bones. So
Mhm.
all your bones, that would be your teeth, that would be your finger joints, and this is where, you have those aches and pains for people that are eating butter, yogurt, sour cream, cheese. What is the everyday life of an OCD chick saying?
Yes, mushrooms give me that meaty bounce, cartwheel, and somersault, but never mind me.
She's like, yeah, they hooked me all the way up, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Wow.
So
So, go ahead, finish. I
yeah,
like
well,
I like
that's I'm just going to add these mushrooms to this basket so that I can condense my space because I'm going to use my butcher block here to roll up a burrito. And then we just put it back in the pan and we toast it. You can do this if you have a sandwich press. So that way you don't have to use any oil. My mom bought my daughter, her birthday was recently. Coco's birthday was recently. My Coco, not yours.
okay. Yes.
My mom bought her this little press so that it was like 4 different presses. There's a waffle press, a sandwich press, a little griddle. And so she's been actually making recipes, finding things online and cooking these things. And so if you have one of those sandwich presses and you don't want to be rolling it up, because y'all know how to roll one up, right? Y'all know about that. If you don't know how to roll one up, but you know how to just fold it in half and press it, do
Exactly.
do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
I love to roll things up because I don't know, it's fun. It's handheld. You can put it in aluminum foil and it keeps and it stays. And so it's just simple, right? And so that's part of the reason why I do it. And just to give you a very quick overview of how this will come together, um, I'll do that. And then I want us all to do this breathing exercise together because I know we're coming towards the end of our show. I
Mhm.
think we are. You tell me.
Yeah, we can end with the breathing because I wanna bring you back. I don't want you to give everything all in one night.
So, okay, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to take a tortilla, we're going to put cheese on the last edge that that's going to help seal it. So we're just going to spread out flat some of our ingredients so that they take up the side that's closest to us and we spread it out flat all the way to about halfway, halfway across.
Mhm.
I'll say that. And then we'll put the cheese on that last edge over there. So that way, once we put it into the pan, that part will get sealed. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to use this non-dairy follow your heart because
I have
again,
to try that. I have to try that. I have never tried. I'm just a cheese fanatic, and I think when I don't eat the real, what I call real cheese, it tastes not real. Whack.
yeah, you know what though? It's the reason why is because cheese has that it has that addictive property in it. So those casomorphines in cheese is what calls you. I'm
Mhm,
going to first roll this a little bit and then I'll close the tips. I'll
mhm,
I'll put those in, put the
mhm,
ends in like this, fold them in, and then I'll finish rolling.
mhm,
But the casomorphines is what calls you. That's like the morphine, it is a morphine effect that you get because mother's milk has an addictive property that makes the baby want to nurse. This
mm,
way, the baby will grow, and the baby will do what it's supposed to do.
Mhm.
So, and you know what she fires? It turns out to not even be such a big tortilla, right? So once we finish rolling it up, because everything,
Right.
it's not too bad. Now, this is where I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to the pan, and you can use avocado oil, you can use olive oil, you can use grapeseed oil. I'm just using chosen. The Moss Report is one channel that I watch. They do a lot of different reports, and they've talked about avocado oil being one of the better oils. Yaki Awakened talks about grapeseed oil, whereas you have Dr. Bobby Price and Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn saying, "Look, y'all leave all the oils alone. Just fall back." But
Yeah.
just to give a note to your cheese, your affinity for cheese, that's the reason why you and all of us have that affinity for cheese. But I will say that if you're looking for one that tastes very cheesy and you don't want to miss anything, either
Yeah.
get the Follow Your Heart slices or the Chow slices. These are the creamy slices, but
Okay,
both
I'm gonna
brands
try.
also have pepper jack. They
I'm gonna,
both have pepper jack as well, and it's amazing. Follow Your Heart's mozzarella is fairly amazing
I
as well.
love mozzarella.
I'm sorry, the Parmesan. They're
I
Parmesan.
love
No,
Parmesan too. Look what
Mr.
Von
Willie,
Erich says. We'll
go
cook
ahead.
this tomorrow. Thanks, Sister Laquita and Pastor Sheila. He said he's gonna try this tomorrow. Yes, it looks so good.
Good. Thank you, Von Erich, and thank you for the music. He sent me a superfood track. Y'all, this is the power of community. So
Yeah.
this is where I'm saying for the people that you look around and you say, well, they look like they all right. They eating trash. They might have good, very good spirits. They might love themselves, right? You don't know what else they have. They might have low stress. All of these things play a factor. We just know that food is something that you do several times a day. And
Yes.
so this is why it affects you. So I
Yes.
hope you cook this and enjoy it because it's quite satisfying. And I do have my salsa that I didn't put inside. I'll take it and put it in a cup and I'll dip it. Let's
Oh,
do these breathing exercises.
okay. Are you ready in the chat to do the breathing exercises? Let's put Coach Mary Ma's comment up first. Awesome ingredients, not only good, but most of all, very healthy. Correct. Correct.
Yeah, she would
Correct.
know. Coach Mary Moss from Cameroon, and she's like growing up farming. They would do like industrial style farming in Cameroon with her family and her community. So she knows, like, yes, okay, Von Erich says he's ready for the breathing exercises. So this is something that I've done with people. I definitely do it with my clients, but I do with strangers in the street and everything. Okay. And so, like, if I see somebody coughing, I was at a glass blowing a few months ago over the summer, and the chemicals in there, it gets to you. And if you have any sort of respiratory issues, which, by the way, dairy products, the milk, butter, sour cream, and all of that, those are inflammatory agents, which is why a lot of people they will have issues with respiratory problems if they're eating those things. So I was at a glass blowing, and the lady, she started coughing. She left out. I saw she had her inhaler. She came back in and started coughing immediately. So I followed her out the second time, and this is what I did with her. And she said, "Wow, that was better than my inhaler." So she did not use the inhaler the second
Wow.
time. So all you're going to do is Sheila take a very deep breath, and everyone in the chat, OG Patrice, and she fires Coach Mary Ma, take a very deep breath right now, slow and very big. Take a big one in, take it real, real big, and then hold it right there. But take just a little bit more in and hold it. Take a little bit more because you always have a little bit more capacity. And I'm going to count to 5 so that we can all push that air out slowly and all the way out to the end. 1, 2, 3. And when you get to the end, 4, you're going to give the senior citizen 5. So push it out slowly and then all the way to the end. Push out every breath so it's all out. Like you somebody great grandma. Then you're going to just simply do that again. So let's take another deep breath, really deep, really, really big, real big, because you should be able to take more this time and hold it. Because every time you do it, you're expanding those small airways. Take a little tiny bit more in because you do have a little bit more capacity. So take a little bit more in and hold it. And I'm going to count to 5 so that when we get to 5, we exhale. I'm trying to turn this over. I'm seeing if this is toasty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let it out slowly and push it out, push it out, push it out. Why isn't this toasting as well? Maybe I need to turn it up. Let me see. Now we're going to do one more because your lungs, it's like those very small airways at the bottom. where the oxygen is exchanged, you're expanding those. You're forcing the air down into them. When you hold the air in your lungs, it's forcing your body. Your body is saying, where else do we have more space? So it's pushing it down. Those airways are opening. That's the tightness a lot of asthmatics and whatnot feel. When you have that tickle in your throat, it's because way down deep, your lower airways are saying, somebody do something. So your body just does something. You're going to cough and it's trying to shake things up. So let's do one last breath and you're going to notice you can take in even more. Let's go. One big one, take it really big in, slow and big so that you really fill up those lungs. And what you'll notice is that with each breath, you can take in more. Hold it. And then just a little bit more, pull in a little bit more because you have that capacity. And I'll count to 5 so that we can let it out. What you'll also notice, 1, 2, is that you can hold it longer. It feels more comfortable. 3, you're not bursting because you've made more space. 4, and then you're going to push it out at 5. So slow, push it out. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. She fires. We ain't counting the time spent between counts. It's a trick. I use that time to count the trick, y'all, so your lungs can do what they are naturally made to
Yes.
do. You don't
Yeah.
have to take all this albuterol and ipratropium, bromide. I'm trying to think of some of the names of these things. She said, Laquita, I'm gonna need you to count the time spent between counts when you're talking.
You know, Laquita, with that, it reminds me so much of that's one of the exercises we singers do, because that's what gives us the ability to hold notes long. So
Because you've opened those lungs.
because you take in when you get ready to when you're singing and you know you're getting ready to hit a note that needs a lot of air and you can't run out, because if you run out you don't complete the note. And so
Right.
when you take in that air, then you learn how to let it out
And-
slow, and then the more you do it, the longer you can hold. That's why many times, I don't know if you guys know Minnie Riperton, how she used to have those octaves over the piano, but she would be able to hold a note. Mariah Carey, hold a note extensively long, because she would learn the master of what you just showed us, pulling,
mm,
taking the air in, and constantly practicing that to expand. People say, how did you do that? Because then she mastered how not to just let the note out, but just
mhm. Absolutely.
to let it out
Absolutely.
slowly. So that is so, so good. That is so
And
good.
and you know what, Sheila? Exactly what you're saying, which is what I was saying. The same thing works for everything, right? So whether you're singing, and look, see, Nikki says it even helps when you're
Correct.
swimming underwater.
Correct.
Like, I know I'm the black person that's scared of the water, so I try to swim on the top for the most part. I don't go under for too long, but I get it.
Correct. When you hold your, that's true. Because when you start out swimming, even if you're just a amateur swimmer, or not a professional, not even a professional, but someone who doesn't swim, but you, like, you get to the half of the pool and you got to come up because you're out of air. But if you continue to do that, like if you just practice that over and over and over,
Mhm.
you'll realize that, oh, in your mind, you're like, oh my God, I made it almost to the end. And the other day, I can only go a quarter of the way. That's because the expansion of holding your breath like that is, and then it clears your head as well.
Oh.
I mean, I know what you just did just now. My concentration was on what you were saying, and I could feel release. I tell people my thing is breathe in God, just breathe in positivity. Now blow out
Yes.
everything that's holding you captive. Just slowly get rid of it. It's a mental
Mhm.
connection with the breathing.
Yeah, Nikki is picking up what you put down. She's like, yes, exactly. And,
Yes.
and me and Coach Mary Ma are together. Look, we ain't the water babies, but count me out of water every time, every day. I just want to show you this finished
Yeah, I want
product.
to see it. Yes, yes.
Then I'm going to cut it in half also. So this is what it looks like all together, right?
Toast it.
And it's pretty hot, but it's not that hot because I had turned it down. And then you can put this in aluminum foil, keep it all together, let it cool down a little bit, put it in aluminum foil. It'll stay room temp for the next day. The nice thing about dishes like this is that they're not going to go bad, right? You don't have to worry about, oh, did I refrigerate that? Because even with the non-dairy cheese, you don't have to worry so much about it spoiling or whatever. And even with cow's milk cheese, I used to leave my cheese pizza, like if we had pizza with cow's milk cheese or whatever, I would leave that out overnight. It's fine. So this is one of those things where people always talk about meal prep. You can
Yeah.
make this meal at a time, and I have a lot of filling left. That was just for one
Wow.
burrito.
Yeah.
And that was from that little bit of food. So this is where, people talk about, oh, Jesus fed the multitude with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Well, I think he has some vegetables because vegetables will expand. They will stretch a meal.
For
Okay.
sure, for
I
sure.
don't
And the
think they will.
potatoes is filling, the potatoes in there and yeah, looks good.
Dr. John McDougall has what he calls the potato reset. It's a 21-day potato reset, so that for 21 days you just eat potato recipes, because potatoes are those satisfying foods. They're filling, they're satisfying, so you feel like you've eaten something. They're very nutritious, and people lose weight. So this is what
I
a
was
lot
getting
of
ready to
times.
say, don't you get fatter when you eat potatoes like that?
No, no, because again, remember, you're only eating whole foods. Remember, the fat is coming in when you're eating the animals and their products. And so that's where, since I noticed that, since I've cut those things out, that's why I can go down and come back up, because I'm not nearly as heavy. I still run up the stairs two at a time because I can feel the levity as I'm going up. I can just feel myself bounce and spring. After I had my first daughter, for the first time ever, I was down to a size 6. I was always like a size 14. I had that baby, and then I was breastfeeding her, and I went down to a size 6. And I was like, "Oh, so this what being skinny feels like. You can do everything is so easy to do. You can lift up your leg, your arm, because you're physically light." And if you've ever been a heavier person, because I've been that person too, you
Mhm.
can feel those pounds. And so the saturated fat that comes in animal products, they're
Mhm.
just not in those potatoes and the recipes that are in the vegetable reset.
Maybe
So,
it's the butter and everything that you put on the potato that gives you pounds.
oh, absolutely, because remember,
Yeah,
those are all the same thing. They're all
yeah,
milk. Butter is made
yeah,
from milk. Sour cream is made from milk. And those are
yeah,
the things that are just pure saturated fat. And then
yeah,
you have the concentrated and more concentrated forms. Like butter is a super concentrated fat versus cheese versus sour cream, but they're all the same food. And yep, yeah, Mary Ma, vegetables will stretch a meal.
yeah. They will. I mean, this so you and your family gonna have a good time with those leftovers because your kids love when you cook on the show. They know after the show that they can go ahead and eat everything that you've cooked.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is lunch, yes, they're going to be taking some burritos, or they might take pizza, because again, I cooked them pizza for dinner. I have
Right.
these burritos, and then tomorrow on the show, I think I'm making burritos as well, just to show, because for people that, watch my regular live stream, yes, they
Yeah.
can catch that.
And your live stream, I don't know if and then Nia can put it in because she's my wonderful moderator here over here in the YouTube
Thank
streets
you.
in the Bravo. I don't know if she could put the link in. If not, you guys can go to Superfood Parents here on YouTube. And we have so many other people in the chat. Forgive me because I don't know your name on on YouTube. Some of your friends are here that have channels, and I know She Fires, who's a great friend. As a matter of fact, I met Kelly on your broadcast a year and
Mm.
change ago, and she has helped me develop. And now you've given me my private lessons and teaching me on StreamYard how to share the screen and do all these wonderful things. I tell you, it's so good when you have people that help you. When
Mm.
you're new to something, and sometimes we as a people don't want to help each other. We don't want to pull a brother up or
Mm-mm.
pull a sister up. We want it all, me, myself, and I. And it's not about because no one gets to where they're going by themselves. We've just celebrated last week 500 subs and a year and change, not even a year
Congratulations.
and a half. And so I'm so excited about that. Today we're at 541.
Woo!
541. So we're moving on. We're getting there. We're getting there. So those of you up in the bleachers, the balcony, and maybe you're in that expensive seat in the orchestra seat up there that's not in the chat, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you haven't. And I already know those of you in the chat. I know you've already hit the thumbs up but help us to push this algorithm to get where we're going.
Mm.
I don't even want to end this show, but I know you got the children. I don't know if you're working tonight, you know.
No, you know what? I do want to say that I'm not working tonight. I worked last night. I feel like I work every night because they call me, I'm a yes person. But they called me today. I thought she was trying to see if I wanted to come in. She called to tell me I'm employee of the month. So
Oh, yay! Bravo.
yes, yes,
Bravo. I'm not surprised. I'm not
yes.
surprised. I'm not surprised.
Thank you. So
Wow.
that's hot off the press, as well as this particular book here. This is
Oh,
one of my workbooks
yes.
that, yes. So this is just a meal planner. It's a workbook that tells you how to be a superfood parent. So that way, if you're wondering what you need to do, yes, you can be disease destroyer. You can be veggie vixen, helping everyone. Oh, thank you, Nikki. I'm glad that I shared some game changing tech tips with you as well. Y'all know
Yeah.
I love tech, and I made this in my favorite place, Canva. I loaded it up to Amazon and I got help just like you did, Sheila. I gave you help. I got my help from the Love and Live show. She walked me through that situation, showing me step by step how to load it up into Amazon KDP. So now that I know, I told Coach Mary Ma, you're next. I showed
Yeah.
her how to format
So
her
then
book.
you're gonna teach me.
When you ask me, I will teach you. You already know. When you call, I say, okay, Sheila, let's do it.
You do, you do. You say what time, and you're right there for me, and we get on and we do it. And they doing a wonderful, wonderful thing. She fires. She put up her
Yes.
YouTube channel. She fires. She is a something, something, something. A powerful little lady. I love her. I love her
Mm,
spirit. I love what she's doing. A nice employee of the month. Nice
thank
book. Yeah, I
you.
was going to mention your book, but I'm glad you held it up. And you have okay. So before we hit, we cannot leave without talking about your us New Yorkers say coffee. Most people in Cali or other places say coffee. So I
Yep.
don't know how you say it, but we say coffee. So can you tell us about your coffee slash coffee?
Yes, actually, yes. So I have a gourmet coffee brand, rolljava.com, and that's what I drink. Rolljava.com. This is one of the emptier bags because I've been drinking out of this one. This one has the sample packs. And so rolljava.com, it comes from several different prime roasters here in the US. So depending on where you are, you place your order, they will roast it and they will ship it within 24 to 48 hours. And so we have roasters out in California, we have some out in the Midwest and the East Coast, but rolljava.com. We have a lot of seasonal flavors. We have a lot of blends or sample packs. Like this was a sample pack. So sometimes I'll have like the sample pack, which will have Ethiopian and different coffees in it from different countries, Colombian. This sample pack had like vanilla, hazelnut, different flavors in it. So
Yeah.
rolljava.com is one way that you can support the broadcast, the business, all the things that we're doing because there's another dream that's coming true for me. I just want to say this briefly is that one dream of mine is to have a food church where you don't necessarily you do testify, you just talk about what you're eating and how it's good, how it's working well for you, right? Whole food. And so I have an adult daycare that I was introduced to. It's hosted at a church and but they're set up with Medicaid and Medicare so that you can get transportation to and from there. They're certified with the state here in Virginia, and I'll be going there on Thursdays. It's held at the church, but it's not a church group per se because they up in there playing spades. They gambling for money, so that's my type of crowd. And and because I love to make money, and
Oh,
and learn how to make my money make money. But
right.
yes, basically, I'll be going there. And the lady asked me, she said, well, when I go out to other sites, would you also be interested in going there with me? So I'm like, absolutely. So, I'll be able to expand my audience to introduce people to how can we use these fruits and vegetables instead of just sauteing them and eating them as a side dish. Yes, you can eat pizza. Yes, you can eat burritos. You do not have to just, do the boring and just have them on the side looking lonely.
Yes, yes, yes. That's awesome. That's wonderful. I love that. I love that. I need a sidebar conversation with you soon. I need my coffee. That
Okay,
I'm
okay,
waiting. I know you're going to get it out to me, but I have someone waiting because I told you I don't drink coffee. I drink tea, but I'm
right.
going to try your coffee. As soon as
Ooh,
I get it, I'm going to try it and I'm going to let you know. The other person that's going to drink it, she's in the chat. She's somewhere other than bleachers. She's somewhere. And I told her that you were going to mail it and we're going to test it and I'm going to
yeah,
drink it and I'm going to take a video to show you my first cup of
okay,
coffee. But I know a lot of people are enjoying your coffee. Wow. And Nay is doing such a great job. She has pulled me
yes,
everyone's YouTube channel, those that are in the chat. She is a peach. I tell you, she is a peach. And you can't forget to support at Sir Hale. And she says, wait a minute, let's roll it. Wait a minute, one more support opportunity. And she said, hold up, I got some more for you. Wow, here's another awesome channel to
right?
support. at the Love and Live show. She is doing her thing tonight. You go ahead, moderator. Also, go support at Coach Mary. She doing her thing. And
Coach
I'm
Mary
so
Ma's birthday is today. Can you sing happy birthday? Because you sing better than me.
oh,
You
it's her
Sheila,
birthday.
yeah, you sing better than me, Sheila. You're
I
a
heard you sing. I heard you sing. I heard
but
you
you're a
sing.
recording artist, Sheila. We can Google you and we can find Sheila out there. You on Spotify and all the places. I'm not not singing.
It's her does she want the old version, the new version?
Any version. She wants the Sheila
Happy
version.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Is it Coach? Coach Mary Ma. Happy birthday to only you.
See, I can do that. I can. Happy
Happy
birthday, Coach Mary
birthday,
Ma. We love
Coach
you.
Mary Ma. Blessings to you. Blessings to you. And Nay
Mm,
is making a comment. It's so amazing to have so many amazing, courageous content creators in one place. I say yes, yes, and yes. I'm telling you, I'm
mm.
telling you. And everyone's saying they like the birthday song. You put me on the spot, but it's okay. Happy birthday. You made it around one more time. God is with you, and it's more to come. The best is yet to come. The
Yes.
best is yet to come. Oh man, I pray that God increases your borders and blesses you abundantly. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. This has been awesome. Listen, I know your website. We've been scrolling your website, but you have to come back soon. You have to come back soon. Maybe, well, we'll talk. We'll
We'll
talk.
talk.
We'll
We'll
figure it out.
talk. And you know what? And when I come back, we can even have a specific topic that we focus on because y'all know I will go all over and talk about all the things in one conversation. That's fine with me too. But if y'all want one topic, we can do that as well.
This was good. This was freestyle tonight.
Yeah.
It was kind of a freestyle. Thank you, Love and Live show. This was a total flow, flow, flow. I love
Mm.
the flow that we had tonight,
Yeah,
Laquita.
you even sang.
I even sang a little bit. I even sang a little bit. I sure did. I was telling folks in the beginning, I got on all this black because I had to
I
do a
heard
video
you.
today. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and I didn't have time to switch or change, but it doesn't matter. I'm here, we're here, and we just had a wonderful time. I want to give you, I want to really bite a piece of that burrito, but being that you're there and I'm here, we're gonna have to figure that out. I think one day at some point those of us that are kind of close, a few hours away, we should meet up, right? We
And
should
work
meet
it out.
certain town or whatever. You're in Virginia. New York is not far from Virginia. We got people so many different places, and we build such strong relationships in terms of supporting each other and being there for each other in these YouTube streets. We on the I started to say something, but then no, it might be taken the wrong way. So I'm not gonna say what I was getting ready to say. The side, the block that we're on. We're on the block with the good block. We're over here on the positive great block and the great block. We got different blocks. You know how it is in territory. You turn left
Mhm.
somewhere you don't want to be, then you turn right and you be like, I like it, but let me go on over here to the center. So you know, you just have to find your space and place in these streets and just connect with so much positivity. And that's what you do. And I'm
Thank
so
you.
grateful to have met you and all of your wonderful supporters who are here and who are with you all week.
Thank
Every week.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Bless you and your children, your family. And you're just doing great things. Before you go, you just got a great position. And I
Yeah.
want to congratulate you on that publicly as well. We just congratulated you on Employee of the Month. I am not surprised about that because you go the extra mile, right? Tell us what happened to you so wonderfully in Virginia with this incredible person. Give us a little backdrop of what's getting ready to happen with you and for you.
Wait a minute. You mean with Dr.
Yes.
Neil Barnard?
No, you got two things that I know is two particular people that have brought you in to do something, but one of them I think is doctor. I think it's the doctor. I think it's Dr. Bernard. No, no, someone in your city.
So I was on the news. So here, this was last week. I was on the news with Dr. Neil Barnard, where I was contracted to be the food stylist. Is that
That's what.
it?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was so amazing. It was really amazing because Dr. Neil Barnard founded PCRM, and Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine is in Washington, D.C. There's dietitians, nutritionists that all focus on whole food, plant-based living. They will administer medications and everything, but they can service 14 states. Thank you, Ania, for that vote of confidence, saying great discussion. And uh, I was contracted to be the food stylist. I got an email where they said, "Look, Dr. Neil Barnard is coming to the city of Norfolk. We need a local person to cook several dishes and to style the food." And so I went into my bag of tricks, and I have a lot of different greenery, props, fake food, and I also had real food. And I put this spread on so that the people at the station were really impressed. I was just thinking, like, well, that's just what I do. Let me just come through and be excellent, be great, do everything as well as I possibly can. But I could tell that they were like, oh, this is a little bit better than what we've had. This is thank you, She Fires, uh, for that. Thank you. It was wonderful spending time with you as well. And so on last Tuesday, I was on, that's when I did the food styling. Then Wednesday night is where he had an event, and it was so warm, such a warm greeting for me to and my children. We walked across the street to the theater where he was. Thanks, Don Hamilton. Thank you, saying good show. And Dr. Neil Barnard, he said, "Hey, Laquita, how are you doing?" And he knew my name. We had a conversation earlier that the day before, but it was a wonderful experience to be able to be a food stylist for one of the founders, one of the people that has really made a huge difference in the treatment of animals. So that, a lot of us, we say, "Oh, don't kick my cat or be good to my dog," but we don't think about some of the atrocities that happen out here in the major industries. We think about back in the, I don't know, was it 30s or 40s when the Chicago, they showed the meat industry, how it was horrific back
Oh,
then. But
yeah.
it's horrific. It's still pretty bad. And we don't think about it because by the time we get our food, it's packaged pretty. And so I personally don't get into all of that, but that's some of the work that Dr. Neil Barnard has done. Things so that they've done things to stop animals from being, how in school you would have to dissect frogs? My mom, she was born in the 40s, and she said that they would dissect the frog while it was alive so they could see the heart beating. I know Dr. Neil Barnard at PCRM, they've been part of those efforts to stop all of those live uh, experiments so that no longer
Oh,
can happen. So it was really wonderful to be in the presence of people that have done so much because it lets you know you can do it too. It lets you know you're a part of the movement and you're already in the wave. So that was just phenomenal. It was a
awesome.
great experience.
You are at such a point in your life now where doors are swinging open. And we know that the word says your gift will make room, shall make room for you.
Mm,
Sometimes all there you go, the room, just say, I'm coming through. And when you do it, you've been doing so many things. You've laid down your life on so many levels. It's your turn now. It is your turn. And I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait to continue to see how you
thank
just
you.
keep growing and moving and all those visions and dreams that you've dreamt about as a little girl as well as your adulthood as a mother, those dreams that women think about that don't, and we don't share them because they stay inside because we know, oh no,
Mhm.
we got to do this first, or oh
Yep.
no, but those dreams are trapped inside of so many women, right, and men as well, where we have to, the word says that your gift will make room for you. And as you continue to trust and believe and keep going, don't look at your age. Don't look at the time that's behind you because the rearview mirror can do nothing for us, right? So it's
Correct.
always when nothing changes, right? And I know for me, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. My children say, "Ma, what you doing now? Where you going, lady?" I'm not ready to stop. It is not over until it's over. And as long as I can get up and do what I do, I'm going to keep doing it. And those dreams that I haven't been able to do yet, I still want to see them or do them. And is God willing, then they'll
Mhm.
get done. So I want to encourage you to continue to soar and break those glass ceilings, right? Because
Mm.
they haven't seen the Laquita that we know. They haven't seen what's getting ready to explode out of you. And I'm telling you, get ready for it. Get ready. It's getting
Mm.
ready to just
Thank
continue
you.
to explode.
I receive it. I see Love and Live shows saying, yes, speak blessings on her. And I appreciate that. I thank you so much. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate you all for being here. I always enjoy Dawn on your network. And so it's great to be on this side as well. Say hearing from her. Awesome. So thank you so much for that. Thank you
Yeah.
for all those blessings, all the kind words. I receive it. I appreciate it. And I'm embracing it. Thank you.
We love you. We love you. So those of you, I thank you all so much, so very much for hanging out on this Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right? I got to remember it's Tuesday. I'll tell you, maybe tomorrow when I wake up, I'll be back on East Coast time in my body. I am like all over the place, not resting because, when you change time zones, some people it doesn't bother them, but it takes me a minute sometime to recalibrate. I want to give a shout out to Don Hamilton, who is in the house. Don Hamilton has been with me since the late 70s as my background singer. And he was he's the guy who would get all my singers together and they would practice and he'd get everybody sharp and tight before we hit the stage. So Don
Mhm.
Hamilton is in the house. I'm so glad you stopped by. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So glad to see you, my dear friend. And so anyway, we are going to sign off. What you think, Laquita? Should I just end with a little soft closing, something really light and
Yeah, sure.
sweet?
Because speaking of time zones, the amazing MNG, she's in Jamaica, so I think they're
Oh,
1 hour ahead of us. So it's already closer to 10 o'clock instead of closer to 9 o'clock. So she's in Jamaica. So yeah, I
yeah.
say give her because she's probably going to sleep. So yeah, sign off with something soothing,
Something,
something sweet.
something quick and something slow, and let's just bow out of here.